Hello, I'm Troy Dawson with Casual Penguins. I'm not affiliated with Spoonflower in any way other than being a customer for over 6 years. Let's look at see how to get your graphic on fabric using Spoonflower. There are two main reasons that people want to use Spoonflower for putting their art or graphics on fabric. The first is they just have one graphic. They want it on fabric, nothing fancy. The other is they want things tiled. They want a large section of fabric, or all with the same pattern repeating. If you are doing this repeating pattern, I just want to say, when you make your graphic, don't forget that things wrap around. So if something goes off the edge on one side, you want it coming back on the other. Same with top and bottom. This one's top and bottom is blank, but side to side, you'll see that these things match. Now, how do we put things on fabric at Spoonflower? You don't have to have an account at Spoonflower in order to create your fabric, but I recommend it. They recommend it also. We're going to do this tutorial without an account, just to show you that it can be done. First, we're going to upload our design. We'll start with our basic one. It's this one right here. Confirm the copyright. You should not be printing things that you do not have copyright for. And upload your file. This is usually fairly quick, but depending on your file size, it could take a little while. Once your file is uploaded, you come here to the editing screen. Again, Spoonflower is recommending that you have an account, but they are not requiring it. But if you do want to save it for future use, you should do that. Now we want this one to just be basic. And if you see over here, there's the repeat different ways. So we don't want ours to repeat on this one, so we're just going to center it on the page. We're going to talk a little bit about these rulers later, but for now, just note that they are there. We can change the dimensions. You cannot make it bigger than you uploaded, but you can make things smaller. So it is always recommended to make a big graphic, upload it, and then you can always shrink it down. It does look good shrunk down. So you can shrink it manually or easily by clicking the smaller or bigger button, or you can change the dots per inch manually. I usually have mine at 200. That's just where my graphics look good at. Now, we'll talk about the fabric a little later, but just note that clicking on that, there is 24 versions of fabric at this time. There is 3 size types. There's the test swatch, the fat quarter, and then having yards. Now you notice the picture changed as I did each of those, but more importantly, look at the ruler. For this particular graphic, it looks best on our test swatch, because that's what it was designed for. I recommend doing a test swatch of fabrics before you do any big things, so you can find out if the fabric and the graphics look correct. But that will be on a different video. So we've got it. Evidently we're going to put it on satin, and we'll add it to our cart. Next, let's look at the tiling thing, because that's where I do most of my work. So let's grab the one we were going to tile or repeat. This is our orange color stripe. I do own the copyright, and upload my files. Again, we come to this page. Now this time we're going to look at the repeats a little bit more. So this is your basic repeat. You see it goes over and over. Half drop, as you can see, mine was not designed for half drop. That means it's going over by half, left to right. If we make this smaller, you can see that does things. Let's go back to normal. The half brick. Okay, let me get this back to where I like it, 200. The half brick is sort of nice. It's got my big penguin over my little penguins. So it repeats my pattern without me actually having to repeat my pattern. It makes it more, if you like it that way, visually appealing. You can do mirror. My graphic was not designed for mirror, and you will see why. It does look funky, but that's not the way I want it. Let's go back to 200 again, and I'm going to stick with that half brick. Now let's talk a little bit more about the ruler. This really is what it's going to print out on your fabric, so it's best to measure what you want it on the fabric, how big you really want it, and then change your dots per inch to match. Let's say I want mine to always repeat every 6 inches. Right now it's repeating about every 9 inches. So I would fix that to, let's try 250. It's repeating about every, where are these things? It's going from there to there. So let's try 275. Anyway, dial it in until you get it the way you want. Like I said, I know mine is at 200. That's what I set it to. Now again, we're looking at the ruler, and we're going to switch it to yards. Although I do recommend you do a sample of each one, we're going to look at the yards. So it goes down as far as you want. There is a limit to that. I don't know what the limit is right now. Maybe if you have 50 yards, it cuts off at 10. I don't know. Now you notice this width here is 42. If you can see the 42. If we change our fabric, let's change it to cotton lawn, the fabric I like. Switch it to yards. You'll see that now this ruler goes all the way to 54. And then we do our 3 yards. And there we go. It's fairly simple, but powerful. It's not too complicated. So then we just add this to our cart. It says it's added. Real quick, let's look at our cart. This is your standard cart. It does occasionally change, but like all carts, you can add more yards, less yards. You can delete it. The problem with not having an account is that I would have to re-upload and redo everything. It's a normal shopping cart. And that is how you put your graphics on fabric using Spoonflower. In a few weeks, your fabric will come, and I hope you enjoy using your fabric as much as I enjoy using mine. Thank you.